everybody, it's Pat Love from eXp Realty. I'm doing a series to provide information for people purchasing real estate and this sort of take the mystery out of some of the items. And today I'm here with Vic Ballantine of Allegiant Home Inspections. And she's going to share a bit about what to expect and how her business works. So, hi, Vic.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm looking forward to hearing more. So, beautiful day in North Vancouver today. Quite excited to see that.
It's always a good day when I have to do an inspection and it's not pouring rain.
Yes, I can imagine. I can imagine. Okay, well, let's get started. So, why don't you let us know why one needs a home inspection when they're buying real estate?
Well, clearly there are a million things in home ownership that can cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. So it is far better to go into that not blind. I
Definitely.
have studied all the systems of a home
Mhm.
and I am able to come in and give you the red flags that could be major issues down the road or even just small things that add up.
Mhm.
I'm your woman.
Good, good. Well, that's good advice. Okay, so what are some obvious red flags that buyers should know about ahead of putting an offer in? What should they be looking for, that might maybe stop them from even considering moving ahead?
Well, there's three things that I like to tell people. If it's a pre 1980 home, you always want to obtain documentation from an owner showing that the oil tank has been removed or that an appropriate company has warranted that there is no oil tank detected. If the homeowner that's selling the place can't offer that up to you, then it is really important that you get that done before subjects are removed. Um, Soil contamination is an environmental concern that can be extremely expensive to remediate. In my former life, owning a construction company, we actually had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on remediation for the homeowner. The second thing that I like to point out to people is that if it's an older place and you can tell it's been updated, I mean, if you're going to buy a 1980 home and it looks like it's not from the 80s, then obviously there has been updates to it. You need to make sure that this has all been done with permits. And I'm not just talking paint, I'm talking like anything that possibly could have electrical or plumbing or structural things done to it. The easy way to do this is to go to the municipality and ask for pulled and closed permits. Anyone can pull a permit, but you can only close a permit when you've had the appropriate inspections done. So it's always important to get this done because municipalities will sometimes require that you remediate these items if they find out you are on the hook as the new homeowner, no matter who did it in the past. This can be really expensive. It's also an insurance issue because if anything happens to damage the home or people in the home because of these unpermitted things, they might not pay out for them. This includes decks. And an easy way that people can tell if a deck has been built with permits or not is often to look at the footings on the bottom of the posts that hold the deck up. They're required to be poured in place concrete that go down into the ground. If you look at them and you see that it's the pier blocks, those little kind of pyramid shape that the post rests on top of, those are only allowed to be used on a ground level deck. So if you see those holding up a deck, you're pretty guaranteed that that deck was built without permits. And all of us have seen, I'm sure, news stories of decks collapsing with lots of party goers on them.
Mhm.
So that is really important to get done. And you can do it. You just call up the municipality and ask for the address, and it's free, and they will tell you the information. You don't have to go anywhere or do anything. The third thing that I tell people, and this is becoming a little less frequent now, is if you have a wood burning appliance, and that's fireplaces or wood stoves in your home, you will need to get a wet inspection before subject removal. And a wet inspection stands for Wood Energy Technology Transfer. And it is a person that's certified to come in and check that all of the chimneys and vents and fireboxes and everything about this appliance is in working order. Most municipalities will require this annually, and most all insurance companies in BC require this. If something happens to the structure, there's a fire, it won't be covered by insurance if you haven't had this inspection ongoing.
Wow.
And also, aside from the money factor, if it's not working properly, it's a huge problem with poisonous exhaust gases entering the home. So it's a safety item as well as a money item.
Wow. Wow. I'm learning new stuff today. Definitely. So that's your top three.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So once a buyer calls you and books you for an inspection, can you explain the process and how it works?
Well, it's pretty much all online now. If somebody wanted me to come and do an inspection tomorrow, I would get their information and I would fill it out on the contract, and then I would email them a copy of the contract, which they can look at and digitally sign. And then they can pay me online. They can pay with a credit card or they can do e-transfer. Those are the only two options for me. And both of those things have to be done before I will set foot on the site. So it's best to get them done as soon as possible because everyone knows that home inspectors are very, very busy. And if somebody's lollygagging around and not sending me back that, I will have to take another job.
Mm-hmm. 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 Okay.
So it's all
And
easy and there's no contact.
mm-hmm. Okay. So after they send their payment, what's sort of your lead up time? How fast can you be on the spot? I know we have a very hot market right now and lots of pressures, maybe pre-inspections being done. And
Almost all of them are pre-inspections now.
yeah, yeah. So, say we came across that, a day or two, or could you be there within a day?
It depends if I have inspections.
Mhm,
Generally, because I just started in the last couple of years doing this,
mhm,
and a year of it has been COVID, I have been building up my clientele, but I'm not fully established in the market. So um, I am slightly freer than most people are at this point, but it's
mhm.
getting to the point where that isn't really going to be the case for much longer.
Yeah.
Um, I would say, and also the very strange thing is all week long I've had people calling and saying I need an inspection done and I need it done before 4 o'clock tomorrow. Like, okay. And and if I'm free, I'll say, well, I would have to do it today, or I would have to do it tomorrow morning at this time. And they're always like, okay, well, I'll call and find out if that's okay and get back to you. Well, if you need it done in that time frame, like immediately, shouldn't you already know if you can get access to the place? It's kind of strange to me. I don't know
Well,
when you expect me to do it.
yeah. So, I know there's many factors involved in this question, but in general, what should a buyer budget for your services? Just a, ballpark of, and I know it depends on the type of property and everything. So if you could
It
share a little
does.
bit.
So I'll just give you a few examples. My lowest price starts at a condo or an apartment that is under 1,000 square feet, and that is 425 plus tax. And then it gradually goes up by size. So say you had a 2,500 square foot home, it would be 650. If it's 2,501, it would be 700. So it kind of goes up incrementally, usually about $50 to $100, depending on size.
Mhm.
The other factor that I always put into it is the age of the home. So if there's going to be an extra fee if the home is 50 plus years old, if it's 80 plus years old, and if it's 100 plus years old. Because those are basically the time frames when major things started changing. So I know I'm going to have a lot more issues to look at. It's going to take me a lot longer to write up the report. And the final thing to factor in is if there's a basement suite or a secondary suite or a lane home, then I have additional fees for that as well.
Okay, well, that gives
So
us a
I
good
would just
idea.
say the most expensive would be if you had a home that was over 7,500 square feet and had a laneway home as well and was 100 years old. That would that would cost you, just under $2,000.
There you go. Well, that gives you a good idea. So, I we'll try this last question, and I was saying, what sort of things are deal breakers? And we talked about this before we recorded. So, give me an idea of the deal breaker conversation. What you would think would be a deal breaker, maybe not so much for someone who's buying.
Well, that's an interesting question because when you go through your schooling to become a home inspector, it is emphatically pounded into your head that you are loyal to the house. Your personal opinion does not matter. Many people have different reasons for wanting to buy a place. Um, they might really, really want to have it in that neighborhood. They might really want to be in that school district. They might really want to just own it for a year and live in it and then tear it down. Um, so you can never prejudge. So, for example, this week I did an inspection on an apartment building and it was self managed. It had never had a depreciation report and it was built in the 70s. So the realtor went in with her back way up. Like she did not want her clients looking at this place because she did not think it was a good idea at all. And if I was buying a place, that would be a red flag for me. In doing the inspection, I found a terrible roof. I found a horizontal crack the entire perimeter of the foundation, which is a huge red flag. You need a structural engineer to look at that. That could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars for the strata to repair that. And it also had aluminum wiring, which is a huge insurance issue. I would never have bought that place. And they asked me what I thought about it. I said, well, these are issues for me. The clients ended up buying it anyways, despite all of that, despite knowing that there might be huge fees coming down the line. And they bought it because it was hands down the cheapest place on the market. And it was hands down the biggest, cheapest place on the market. And they really wanted to have an extra bedroom for their daughter to come and stay from the Philippines. So you can never judge
No.
what people are going to deem important.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. Well, that was a great lot of information, and I learned a few things. So once I stop recording, I'm going to pick your brain a little. So I thank you very much. That was wonderful information for people, and I think that we really appreciate you sharing.
Thanks for having me again.
Thanks, Vic.